Last night we had quite the thunderstorm and this window was still out in the back here, so I just rigged this tarp up so it would at least keep the rain from going in. I didn't want to put it up over the top of the RV because the water would just run down and drip in. So what I did is I just anchored it in the cabinet door that's above the window here, and it seems to have worked quite well to keep it dry in there. So this is my effort at fixing the delamination underneath the back window in Honey. It's not perfect, definitely not perfect. This is where I used the low expanding foam. You can see the bits of foam up here, and it's closed it up really well up here. It was open all along here, and it was actually open a little bit along here too, where the water had gotten down underneath the window here somehow, probably from these little holes that I put in the wall by mistake. Anyway, so this is all firm now because it's filled up with that low expanding foam. But because it expanded, it pushed it out a little bit, so it's not completely flat. The problem with this spot back here is if you look over here where it isn't delaminated, you can see it comes down here and then it angles this way. So I can't just brace here because there is this angle right here. So I've had to do it up here, and then I've had to do it down here. If it had just been one flat surface, it would have been so much easier. It has sealed all of this up. It's no longer bouncy. Down here is where I put the sealant into the hole here, and there's a little bit of play in there still, so I could put some more in there. I braced it as well as I could against the tree that I've got sitting back here. It's okay. I'm not sure if I should even worry about doing any more. It looks terrible because it's very dirty because my hands have been all over it. My hands have been all covered in ucky stuff from taking off the Eternabond. I may just give up on trying to make it really perfect because I don't think it's going to happen. Clean it up, and I have ordered some really cute little flowery decals. Decals or decals. Do you say decal or do you say decal? I always want to say decals, but maybe it's decals. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you call them. They're just kind of individual ones that I'm going to kind of put a little sweep of them across here, which may make this look less conspicuous. We'll try that and see how that works, but I'm not going to be too concerned about it. I did what I could. I'm not a RV, repair person who has all this tools and stuff that you can use to do these kinds of things. I just used what I had on hand, and it's better than it was. It is sealed up. There's no water going to be getting down in here again. I'm happy enough with it. So I think I'm just going to leave it. I just need to seal up these holes now. I didn't film when I removed this window. This is the frame that goes around the inside here with all the screw holes in it. There's no screw holes on the outside of the RV windows. They're all on the inside. So you have to undo all of the screws from the inside. That releases the window so it'll pop out. I'm just using my scraper to scrape the butyl tape off from around the edge of the window, and then I'll put the new butyl tape on and we can put this window back in. You can see here is some of the original decal or decal. It's not been affected by the weather and the sun. It's quite shiny. I'm not sure if that was actually how it looked, if it was really that sort of metallic-y color, but it's pretty dull now. I'm just going to peel off as much as I can, and if I need to get the hairdryer to heat it up a bit because it's a little chillier today. You can see I put it down on the ground when I took it out of the window, and that's why all the grass and rocks are stuck on it. Coming off quite cleanly under here. There's no real residue in there. This is definitely a different consistency to the glue that's on the Eternabond tape. It's more rubbery, I guess. It's not as sticky. And I'm just going to clean the edges off with some mineral spirits. So this is Dicor butyl tape. I got it from Amazon. It's 3/4 inch wide by 30 feet long, and there are 2 rolls of it in this package. I'll leave a link below if you're interested. What I don't use, I'm going to be putting into a plastic container, because that way it won't get mushed like our last bunch did. And I want to keep it nice and unmunched for future use. So what I'm going to do is just break off pieces that are long enough to go along the sides and around the corners a little bit. You can see this stuff is gray. I haven't seen black stuff, so I'm not sure if they used to make it black and it's not black anymore. So I'm just going to lay it flat in this area, but also so that it will come up around the corner here. So when I put it back into the window, it's going to squish it into place better. So you just can tear it, the paper tears, and then it just pulls it apart. So I'm going to overlap it on the ends. So when I take the paper off, about just before I put it into the window, that corner will be able to stick together. Any of it that leaks out from underneath the seal here, I can cut off, because I'm going to be sealing around all these windows all the way around. Most RV manufacturers only seal the top part of the windows and doors and don't put any sealant underneath them, but I'm going to be doing them all the way around. This is the frame that fits on the inside of the window, and it holds the outside of the window in place. So this edge here fits around the outside of this. You can see where the screw holes are. They go into the inside of the frame here. It's actually quite surprising how little is holding this window in. A little bit scary even. But I think the butyl tape probably has a lot of holding power as well. So we're going to try putting this back in, and hopefully it'll all go back together okay. This is where having 2 people to do this job would be handy because I have to go inside now and screw in the frame. So I braced the window outside with some pieces of wood against that tree that I also used to push the delamination in. So at least I'm not as worried about the window falling out as I screw in these screws. These are just the short little screws that came out of the window frame to begin with, and I'm just reusing them because they're still in pretty good shape. So let's hope the window doesn't fall out. Looks good. Let's go take a look from outside. Well, that gave me a freak out because as I was climbing out of the RV, my support fell down. And I thought it was the window. So it looks like it is in there good and solid. You can see there's some butyl leaking out here, and a little bit here, some here. But other than that, it looks like it's mostly not leaking. But I'm going to leave it. It's sitting in the sun right now, and I'm going to leave it to ooze a little bit, and then I will trim off the stuff like this that's coming out.